I officially declare myself the Lord of low-effort content. Not even joking. I don't have a lot of time to film content at the time that I'm filming this. I'm in the middle of a very big, very scary, official, big corporate job, and it's taken up all my time. But I wanted to do something, and something is better than nothing. So what I'm going to do is quite low effort, but bear with me because I think it's actually worth maybe a bit of a watch over. Did a live stream quite recently, and during that live stream I was asked the question, how do you choose the colours for highlights and shadows? It ended up becoming a bit of an on-the-fly lesson in colour theory. I am prone to being a bit of a rambler, as you can probably tell if you've watched more than one of my videos, and so I sort of ended up giving a bit of an impromptu description on how I use colour theory to choose highlights and shadows. This is a really handy sort of go-to method for helping you with painting your miniatures, and so what I've done is clipped that section out of the live stream VOD, and I'm now going to recycle it into the easiest video I've ever made. Enjoy! When you're picking your highlight colours, the main thing I would say to think about is just consider saturation. Go for colours that maintain the overall saturation of the workup. No problem at all, you're most welcome. You're most welcome. And hue, Dave's just pointed something out there. Hue can also be a very interesting thing that can be quite important to how our workups look. So for example, you know that I've been shading this with burgundy. I started off with the burgundy, worked all the way up through the midtones into the highlights. And then something that I'll occasionally do is just come back in to certain areas and just push a bit more of that burgundy back into them. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm trying to create contrast. And in order to create contrast, the blue tones that are in the burgundy are going to really help push the yellow tones in the orange forward more, because blue and yellow complement each other, right? Blue and yellow are complementary colours. So what's going to happen is the more blue I push into the shadow, the more the yellow pops in the orange, which means the orange looks more bright, it looks more on fire, it looks more alive, it looks more vital, right? So the reason I use a burgundy shadow is literally because burgundy is red plus blue, orange is red plus yellow, right? So the colour that I'm adding to my red, the two colours that I'm adding to my red to create my shadow and my highlight, complement each other, which means that my shadows and my highlights will have maximum possible contrast from each other. And this works with everything. If you pick some complementary colours, let's say that let me grab a colour wheel up because it'll be easier to illustrate this with a colour wheel on screen. Right, so here's a colour wheel. And this is explaining what complementary colours are. This is Dulux's website. This is like for people to paint their houses, right? So a complementary, this is the most common pairing of colours that we use. It's just two colours that are opposite each other on the colour wheel. This is a really simplified colour wheel, so it's very easy to understand that. You can see here blue and gold and yellow are opposite each other. So in this case, I'm painting with red, okay, and I use blue for my shadows and yellow for my highlights to mix my two colours. So my shadow is like a purpley, or in this case, burgundy colour. My highlight is an orange, okay? So because my two highlight colours complement each other, I create something that is maximally contrasted. I've harnessed as much contrast as I could get out of it, okay? You don't have to do that, but doing that is a really good tip for how to kind of produce those sort of next level looking super bright highlights, right? That's how you do it. So we can apply this exact same logic the other way. Say if we're painting in green, we could mix blue into our green to form teal shadows and yellow into our green to form lime coloured highlights, eventually probably going up to like a pure yellow. And what would happen is we'd end up with something around here. We'd end up with like a golden yellow at the top and a teal at the bottom, and our result would be complementary highlights and shadows. Okay, and we can do this anywhere in the colour wheel, anywhere at all in the colour wheel. It really doesn't matter. You also have split complementaries, which is just a Y. You just make a Y, and you can use those as really good 3-color workups. If you're ever stuck for how to do like a 3-color workup for like a Space Marine or something, this is literally what they use for Ultramarines. The purity seals and the eye lenses are in kind of the region of sort of reds. They're in kind of roughly this region. The armor is in roughly this region, and the shoulder pad trim is in roughly this region. Ultramarines are literally painted in a split complementary, right? It's the simplest thing ever, but because there's language associated with it, we don't really understand it. So what I do when I explain this shit to people is just, if you want to create a split complementary color scheme, just draw a fucking Y across a color wheel. Like, that's literally how you do it. Draw a Y across a colour wheel, and the 3 colours you land on are the 3 colours you paint with. Like, you can't ask for simpler than that. And you can get much more advanced colour wheels than this that also have saturation and hue sort of simultaneously represented. So if you look at some of these colour wheels, you can see colour wheels like this, where value is also represented. So it shows you sort of your starting darkest colour, but then it also shows you the lightness values going up towards sort of a light grey or a neutral grey kind of colour in the middle. So you can go more complicated with your colour wheels in order to sort of get more information from them. But the basic thing you need to know is that if you want to maximise contrast, if you want to sort of maximise the amount of contrast present in your workup, essentially mix one complementary into the mid-tone to form your shadows, mix the other complementary into the mid-tone to form your highlights, and that's how you're going to get that maximum contrast look. And red just happens to be a colour that it's really easy to demonstrate, but like I say, it works with everything. It works with literally everything. So it is absolutely something you can try at home, have fun with. And it will very quickly improve your painting. You will also see this extremely high contrast appearing in your painting, and you'll be very, very happy. So yeah, that's a really quick explanation of how to choose shadows and highlights. So there you have it, some pretty straightforward ideas, nothing too adventurous going on there, but I do think that it's a really good thing to be able to just bear in mind, to have in the back of your head as this is what I need to be thinking when I'm doing that, and it kind of just makes the whole process a little bit easier, a little bit more straightforward. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, please do give it a thumbs up to let me know that you liked it. You can, of course, also subscribe to the channel and enable notifications if you want to stay up to date on what I'm doing here on YouTube, which will be a lot more soon once I'm back from doing this big job. If you really love the content and you wish to support its creation, you can pledge on Patreon from as little as £1 a month. Yes, I did say £1. We've converted the Patreon over into English currency now. So you can head there at the link in the description, as well as check out my affiliate links, social media, all that sort of thing. I'm going to get out of here for now, folks, but thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye for now.